Welcome to this special ChannelX Leaders interview. Delighted to be joined by Roy from Cymbio today. Welcome, Roy. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
So, Roy, tell us about Cymbio and what you have to offer for brands.
So Cymbio is a marketplace and dropship automation platform. We help brands connect to any marketplace out there, any retailer that's operating a dropship program, social commerce. Basically, we help brands sell anywhere they want to sell through.
And what inspired you to start Cymbio? I mean, what was the gap in the market you were seeing that no one else was serving?
So Cymbio started back in 2015. And although marketplaces...
Congratulations, it's your 10-year anniversary this year.
Thank you. We actually celebrated. We had a big party here at the office behind me a few weeks ago. So when we started, we basically obviously knew about eBay and Amazon, but these were the major marketplaces out there. But we started hearing about more and more marketplaces or dropship programs being utilized by known retailers who are selling brand names. And part of the understanding was that there are multiple enablers or platforms that are allowing a retailer to start a dropship program or a marketplace. But we assumed, because we saw where the market is going, that there will be multiple marketplaces with multiple vendors, multiple requirements, and the brands will need to adjust and adapt to comply with the requirements of each marketplace. And we didn't really see anyone out there who's supporting the brands with brand first in mind way of thinking. And we decided to go out and build a platform for brands to be able to sell anywhere they want in a seamless and easy experience.
Fantastic. So that immediately sparks some questions for me. I mean, first of all, tell me about a couple of the most exciting channels that you're seeing at the moment, but then also, what are the sort of operational headaches brands face when trying to scale on marketplaces? And is it a different challenge for a brand compared to maybe a retailer who is selling multiple brands' products on marketplaces?
For sure. And I can promise you there are a lot of headaches for the brands selling on marketplaces and social commerce and dropship and basically any digital sales channel out there. And yes, we do think about ourselves as the Advil for marketplaces on brands' behalf. Basically, if you're looking at growing your marketplace operations as a brand, you need to comply with a lot of requirements from each retailer and each marketplace. And your entire team is involved there, whether it's the IT team, whether it's the operations team, the sales team, content. There's a lot of team members involved. And that's just the initial heavy lifting of basically starting to sell on a marketplace. In many cases, a lot of those onboardings and a lot of the initial setups are very manual, and they're taking a lot of time on the brand. Again, this is just one marketplace. From the point you went live, suddenly you have a lot of operational challenges that you need to take care of. Now, I didn't even get to the point where you need to actually adjust your product content, your products, your imagery, according to each of the marketplace's requirements. In addition to the fact that you need to maintain integrations with IT teams. And there's so many details, and we are in retail, and eventually the devil is there in the details, that you need to comply with, you need to be aware of, but it's all very fast as, again, orders flowing in, and with scale, the challenges and the manual work that you need to do as a brand is super complex. Honestly, if you're growing your marketplace operations, you can't do this in a manual manner, and automation is key. I'll pause because I feel like I'm getting into it.
I think it's interesting. I think it's been happening for about a decade, but especially since COVID, we've seen so many more brands adopting D2C operations, whereas before it was a traditional, I'm a brand, I've got a manufacturer, they've got a distributor, it ends up with a retailer, a consumer buys it either in store or online. But nowadays, so many brands are operating direct to consumer, and they want to embrace marketplaces. but their entire IT infrastructure isn't really set up for that. It's set up for, we've got a design team that makes products, we liaise with manufacturers, or maybe we've got our own in-house manufacturing, and then it goes, here's some pallets going to a distributor, and that was kind of the end of the story for them up until now.
Correct. And suddenly they need to, again, adjust their processes and their workflows according to multiple partners and their workflows. And we can take just a small example. Think of return. I mean, it's part of e-commerce. It's part of life in selling goods. And each marketplace has their own process. As a brand, you have the warehouse or warehouses that are receiving those returned goods. They need to be aware of that. But incoming return is actually on its way. They need to know what to do with it. They need to understand billing and reconciliation. There's so much details and bits and bytes into this, where you have to be a professional to actually make sure that you're providing the service to your customers and your partners as you want to.
So this is really interesting, because there are many brands struggling with this at the moment, and they're looking at all sorts of solutions. Some of them are using an external agency. In COVID, loads just found the first agency they could find. They said, get me on Amazon. My stores are sold. I need to sell. And they kind of not moved on with since that. Since from that point, they're still paying agency fees to manage the entire operation for them. So can you kind of talk us through how a brand's day-to-day operation changes after using Cymbio, and kind of give us an insight of how a brand can use Cymbio to actually bring those operations in-house?
For sure. So first of all, Cymbio takes full responsibility on everything marketplace for a brand. Meaning we handle the integration, we handle the initial setup, we handle product content, we even adjust images according to each marketplace requirements. Obviously, we deal with pricing and inventory and orders and billing and returns and cancellations and reconciliation and packing slips and shipping labels and everything out there. The unique part about Cymbio is the fact that we take full ownership on the entire process. We are not replacing the brand in the relationship with the retailer. However, we do completely relieve the IT team, the operations team, and eventually the brand is there to decide which assortments, which products will actually be sold. Pricing is with the brand. Other than that, everything is fully automated. I'll add that we're seeing customers who are migrating to us from some of the vendors, because a lot of us are talking about automation, a lot of us are talking about AI. Eventually, I'm not familiar with anyone who's actually allowing a full pledge automation from A to Z, meaning from integration point to setup and all the way to billing reconciliation, which is what we're offering here at Cymbio. I want to emphasize just maybe a specific challenge that we're seeing across the board, whether it's on retailer side, whether it's on a brand side, the product content. No matter which platform a retailer is using to operate a dropship program or a marketplace, the requirements, or think of taxonomy. Let's use the most simple example. A retailer can call a color red, and the brand might be calling that color romantic sunset.
Yeah.
Somehow, this needs to be mapped to the taxonomy and the catalog of the actual retailer. And when I'm searching on the retailer's marketplace for the color red, I need to see that product, right? Otherwise, the brand is losing sales. So all of those very important details need to be basically handled and taken care of for each brand on each marketplace and each retailer, and this is a significant part where we're supporting our brands.
And this isn't really where brands have got their expertise. A brand's job should be building the brand recognition and reputation and making amazing products that people want to buy. They don't need to worry about, is this black or is it dark grey or is it anthracite or is it jet? They don't need to worry about what the detail like that. They just need the product. But something that's interesting is, like, everyone loves to say they automate things nowadays, but what does automation actually look like at Cymbio?
So at Cymbio, we're fortunate to support some of the most iconic and amazing brands out there. Think of New Balance, think of Lanvin, Balmain, Steve Madden, Lacoste, and I can continue on and on with naming. Eventually, the unique part or the way we look at automation is we're accountable. We take ownership. We committed to making sure that there's an integration in place that can support your processes as a brand, your workflows as a brand, and get you live and getting orders streamlined with any channel, any marketplace, any retailer, any social commerce platform that you want to sell through. And a lot we'll talk about automation with orders and inventory, but there's so much more to it than that. And again, product content, the actual integration, the actual setup, returns. One of the biggest pain points for brands, which causing them not just to lose sales, lose inventory. Obviously, think of inventory sitting out there waiting, not being listed to shelves or to marketplaces, is equal dollars on shelves. You're also hurting your customer. You're not providing the optimal customer service, not to your actual end consumer, but also to your partner, to your retailer or marketplace that you're working with. And this is where we shine.
And this is really important for brands because brand reputation is everything. It's so hard to win and build a brand reputation and so easy to lose it or destroy it.
I agree, definitely, especially nowadays. And we didn't get to talk about Gen Z and consumers and social commerce and their preferences. But I think one of the main points is consumers' expectations are constantly rising. First, it's justified. Second, the service that you're getting on some of the bigger marketplaces, let's take Amazon as an example, is always setting the bar higher and higher. And all marketplaces, whether it's a small niche player or whether it's the Nordstroms and Macy's of the world, you need to provide the optimal customer service and stand to par.
So let's get down to it. Can you tell us about some of the brands that work with Cymbio? And what would be really interesting is to know why they chose Cymbio over some of the alternative options. Give us some insights about why people love you.
So first of all, we really are fortunate to work with so many iconic and amazing brands like New Balance, like Steve Madden, like Lanvin, like MCM, like Lacoste, like Camper. So many amazing brands out there, and I wish I could mention all the luxury brands that we work with, but we're not usually allowed to talk about. And if I'm thinking about why they choose Cymbio, so first of all, technology, and especially in apparel, fashion, footwear, Cymbio's technology and capabilities are superb and superior in the market, that's for sure. But I think the even more unique point is the fact that our team is not just a retail expert and marketplaces expert. Our mindset as a team is that we're a part of the customers that we serve. Our team is literally an extension of the brand's team. Everything is set, and the team and the business model, everything is built to make sure that our interests are always aligned with the customer. Hence why, as an example, we don't have a ticketing system for customer support. We have direct lines on every channel, from Slack to Teams to Google to WhatsApp to any manner that a customer is working with. As long as it's not a mail pigeon, we're good. And our team is always available. Our team is always there to support. But part of the reason why we can allow ourselves to actually not have a ticketing system and commit to having a team member always with you is the fact that everything is working flawlessly, seamlessly, and thank God and thank you, Team Cymbio, for not not having any challenges so far.
Now, if I'm a leader at a brand, how should I be thinking about marketplace expansion for the rest of 2025 and beyond? We kind of alluded a couple of times that Amazon was there at the beginning and so was eBay, but there are so many other channels now. But I mean, should I be thinking vertical marketplaces? Should I be thinking expanding to more marketplaces in my domestic country? Should I be focusing on marketplaces abroad? And in fact, should I be looking at things like TikTok Shop, which act like a marketplace, but operationally it's so totally alien and different for an experienced marketplace seller?
Yeah, so first, before, and I will get back to actual naming marketplaces, which is where you're going with. I do want to talk about the strategy. As a brand leader, one, I'm assuming you want to grow sales. Two, I'm assuming you want to grow brand equity. You want to gain visibility. You want to be in the right places. But I think that a key, and that's specifically for 2025, but it should be always, you need to think about margins, not just about revenues. And we can talk about tariffs, but I think everyone is fed up with tariffs. Everybody knows about tariffs, and we all know that we can't really affect it at the moment. So I would just say that if I'm a brand leader, I'm first and foremost thinking of my margins. And when you think about it, comparing marketplaces and wholesale, your margins with marketplaces, or at least on most marketplaces, will be higher than wholesale. You'll have much more control, much more adaptability and ability to respond to changes, whether it's tariffs, whether it's something else. Brand equity is much more in control. And again, we serve a lot of luxury brands. And if you think about it, I'm not sure it's in their best interest to actually have inventory out there with boutiques and with department stores because of positioning. Other than that, we mentioned Gen Z before. You want to be in front of Gen Z. They're pretty much 40% of consumers nowadays and will be growing. And we need to think of where they're buying. So whether it's niche marketplaces, think of StockX as an example. Whether it's social commerce, think of TikTok, think of Meta, think of anywhere Pinterest. And the department stores or the marketplaces that are actually providing some sort of a specific experience. And I'll call out Nordstrom as an example, or ASOS. Eventually, each brand has their own the right strategy and where they want to be and where they will be. And there's also some different thoughts on, do I want to generate volumes or do I want to make sure I'm positioned properly? On our side, on the Cymbio side, we have a team here that is helping brands with retail partnerships. So we're very much into the details with the brands on strategy and where they should be and where they want to be. But eventually, it's very customizable per brand strategy.
So I am going to come back to what you kind of alluded I've been after all along, which is, tell me about the marketplaces themselves. Which do you think are kind of underrated or underutilized by brands right now in 2025? Where should they be looking?
So social commerce is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the brands are getting more and more. I can't say they're already at the expert point, but they're getting there. So definitely, I would call out TikTok as an example. Also, in the US, there's like ASOS in the UK and in Europe is doing great, as I'm sure you know. I am a big believer in ASOS in the US as well. But again, we see Macy's performing, we see Nordstrom performing, we see Farfetch performing. There's so many different occasions and different brands. Eventually, you need to make sure that you're on the right places. And intentionally, I'm not talking about the obvious ones, right? Like the Amazons, which we support as well. But we're trying to support the next generation as well.
And I think it's an exciting time for marketplaces, but represents a huge challenge for brands. So I want to thank you for your time today, Roy. But before I let you go, how do people get hold of Cymbio? How do they get hold of you? Can they get you through LinkedIn? And where do they go to find out more information?
Of course. So I'm on LinkedIn, ROYAVIDOR, but also my email is roy@cym.bio. You can also reach out at hi@cym.bio, and obviously visit our website, and you'll find us there.
Roy, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.